Hi everyone, I'm Cheryl and welcome to the Sewing Room channel. Here is an example of just a small pillow that has half square triangles in the corner. And what these half square triangles do is they help to highlight either the fabric you have in here or any other design feature that you might have. So let me show you another one. Here is one that has a Christmas theme to it. And I wanted to highlight the candy canes, so therefore I used fabric that had the colors of the candy canes in it. I also put piping on the edge. Now that's an option you can do if you want to. I'm going to show you one more where you can take it even a step further. You can get very elaborate. Here's one where in the middle I have a little Sunbonnet Sue applique piece in there. Then the half square triangles in the corner. Then if you want to make it even more interesting, you can add a strip of border fabric just to make it a little bigger if you want, and you can even go ahead and add on a ruffle. Now also in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a slip cover on the back so that you can insert a plain pillow form that you might have or an old pillow. Okay, let's get started. The first thing you need to do is determine how big you want your pillow to be when it is done. So I'm going to give you an example of a 16-inch square pillow that's the size we hope it is when we finish it. And I'm going to use a 16-inch pillow form in this one. Remember, you can use an old pillow if you like, or you can even use polyfill stuffing instead of the pillow form. So because I want to make it 16 inches, I need to determine how big my squares are going to be that are in the corner. So I'm going to divide 16 inches by 2. That's 8 inches. So my squares are going to be 8 inches, but I need to add a ½ inch to the 8-inch size. So I'm going to cut 4 squares that are 8½ inches square. And my main piece of fabric here, I'm going to add a ½ inch to that 16-inch, and I will cut this piece 16½ inches square. So the first thing you want to do after you've cut your squares out is you're going to draw a line on all 4 squares that are going from corner to corner. So place your ruler in here and draw a line. And do that again on all 4 pieces. Take 2 of your squares and place them in opposite corners of each other. And here in the center, they should overlap. This is how it's supposed to be. And you want to make sure it fits nice and snug against that corner. Your drawn line is going from the 2 outer edges. And then go ahead and pin it on. Now when you go to stitch it on, if you can look closely here, I'm sorry I forgot to use a different color of thread, but real close you'll see that I'm not quite stitching on top of this drawn line, but I'm stitching very close to it, and there's a reason for doing that, because when you go to fold this piece over, you're going to find that it's going to line up much better than if you stitched right on top of the line. So make sure you've got pins to secure it and go ahead and stitch across there. And you do that on both of them. Then after you stitch them on, you want to make sure you press on those seams. Then place your 1/4 inch line on your ruler on the seam that you just, or on the line where it's stitched right there. And then you would go ahead and cut this corner off. Now, don't throw this piece of fabric away. This is very usable fabric, so you can save it for another project. Then go over to the other side and cut this side off. Now take this corner and fold it out like this, and then make sure again you press your seam, and then do the same thing on this side here. Take your other 2 squares and place them on opposite corners, diagonal line going across this way. It's up against your edges here. You will notice that the fabric is overlapping. It is supposed to. If it's not, something's wrong. Go and remeasure something to make sure you cut those squares correct. Do the same thing with this square. Then repeat the same steps for pressing and stitching it on, cutting those corners off. Everything is exactly the same. When you're done, it's going to look like this. Again, it should be overlapped in here. The distance between the edge and in here should be around 1/4 of an inch, or very close to that. If you're going to do quilting stitches, you want to put cotton batting on it. This is the next step that you would have. Here is my cotton batting right here. But go ahead and smooth it out and then do whatever quilting stitch pattern you would like to do. If you don't want to use cotton batting, you can use fusible fleece. So go ahead and iron it on to the underside of this piece right here. For this pillow, I've cut 2 pieces of fabric that are 10.5 inches wide by the size of the pillow, which is 16.5 inches. Again, cut 2. On both pieces of fabric, you're going to do the following step on just one long edge of each piece. So fold it over 1/4 of an inch and press, and then fold it over again and press. And then after pressing, stitch real close to this edge all the way across. And again, you do this on both pieces. So now take one of them and lay them down, and it's going to be lined up on the 3 edges here. Then take your other piece, and by the way, the section that is folded over and stitched is going to be in towards your center area. And then take the second one and repeat that. The folded edge is in the center area. Line it up on the 3 edges here. Then place straight pins around all 4 edges. I chose to do a 1/4 inch wide seam, so go ahead and do that. Stitch all the way around 1/4 inch wide. And the areas where it's overlapped, I would stitch one more time across there, either back stitch or go ahead and repeat that stitch across there, because it is a stress section, and when you go to open it to insert the pillow, you might pull out some of your stitches, and you don't want to do that. Another suggestion, in the corner here, after you stitched, you may want to cut a little bit of the corner off so that when you go to poke it out, it will look a lot nicer. It won't be all folded inward. Well, on this one, this is what it would look like when it's done. You've got your 4 half square triangles in the corner, and then I'm going to show you the edge. This is where they meet with each other, right in there. Remember, you can add piping on the edge if you want to. You can add an extra border. You can add a ruffle. You can do anything that you want. So what I've done is I have added links to other projects to learn how to put the piping on and other pillow projects that you can do. So in order to get to those links, you want to scroll down to the description section. As you're scrolling, look for the word more. Click on that, and that section will expand open, and you will see a variety of links. You'll also see a little tutorial on how to do quilting stitches in case you don't know how to do that. Now, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, and make sure you check out my Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time, and happy sewing. If you like the Sewing Room channel, one of the best ways to show your support is to subscribe by clicking on that red subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to click on share to share this video with your friends. And make sure you click on the bell so you receive notifications for all my new videos. I'm Cheryl. This is Manny and this is Scotty. See you next time.